All right, looks like we're live. What's going on, everybody? Rock the Swatch. What's up?
What's up, guys?
So we decided after Chris, I spoke to Chris and he posted a video about his experience with this whole crazy MoonSwatch thing. And I hit him up today, said, hey, you want to do a live stream and explain, what happened? So Chris, go ahead, give us the rundown of what happened today.
Sure. So, hello, everybody. Hello, Matt. Thank you for having me on. So, very quickly, I like a lot of people, I guess, maybe not that many, I don't know, but it seems like a few thousand people decided to go out here in New York, at least, to get a MoonSwatch. I woke up very early this morning, around 4 o'clock this morning. Got ready, drove into New York City, into Manhattan. I went to the Grand Central Station Swatch store. When I got there was already about 300 people online. That was around 6 o'clock in the morning. At that time, a representative from Swatch around 6 o'clock started coming around and just telling us that we were only going to be able to purchase one each. Which I already knew because I saw that on Instagram the night before. And so a lot of people weren't aware of that, so they were a little bit upset about it, but I wasn't upset because I knew about it. And then I waited, and then more people came on the line, and then more people came on the line. And a couple of my friends actually showed up. They were with me on the line where I was. I got off the line and I started walking to the back of the line. I literally walked for 10 minutes. I couldn't get to the back of the line. It wrapped all the way out of the building, out of Grand Central, all the way up Lexington Avenue, and then up 42nd Street, past Cellini, past the Hyatt, all the way up, if anybody's familiar with New York City. Very, very far up the street. I would have guesstimated at around 1,000 people with the time that I went, which was probably around 7:30. And I would imagine there was more constantly coming on. So I would imagine it was 1,000 to 1,500 at that moment, maybe all in, maybe 2,000 people. Anyway, long story short, at around 8 o'clock when they were opening, they then sent the police around. It was actually around 8:15, somewhere around there. They sent the police around rather than sending Swatch representatives around to tell us that there were only 100 watches in the Swatch store and that everybody else should just go home. So literally everybody just stood there polar, like frozen in ice for about 10 minutes. The police went down the line, told every single person, and came back up the line telling everybody from the back forward again because no one had moved. And then a bunch of people just went nuts. I didn't go nuts. I was just I felt, and that's the reason why I went home and I made a video about it. And if you guys saw the video, a lot of people think that I am bitter about it. I'm not bitter at all, actually. I knew there was a chance going there that I wasn't going to get a watch. I waited online. I just wish that they didn't waste my time. Something that I was just talking to Matt about. I think that they wasted our time because if they knew at 6 o'clock they had 100 watches, which they did, because nothing changed. They knew that how many watches they had. They should have just came out and said, there are 100 watches. You guys from here past here are not going to get any watches. Is there anybody in this 100 that aren't 100% going to buy the watch? If not, then everybody back here, you got to go because no one's going to buy the watch. But here's the reason why they didn't. And it's something I didn't mention in my video and I should have. Mm-hmm. New York City, they had a camera team there, a film team, and they were filming the line. I saw a guy, it was it wasn't, I don't know if it was a team. It was a guy with a professional camcorder. Right. I'm 99% sure he was with Swatch. And then later on, I saw footage on their Instagram and I saw footage someplace else of them sort of showing all the lines around the world waiting for their watches. Okay. And I know they showed a line that was in New York. I don't know if it was the line that I was on, but they did show one of the lines in New York. That's why they did it. So they got all of these people in line, and then that was it.
So that pretty much answers one of my questions. I was going to ask you, do you think it was on purpose? Do you think this Do you think this whole thing was set up like it was a PR? I'm not gonna say stunt, but it was a PR play. The limited releases in certain stores, because I heard one. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it was over in Europe or where somebody got stabbed in line somewhere or something fighting. I saw a video, might have been in England or something. Somebody said, because that's all over YouTube. So that's what I was consuming most today, was watching everybody's video, because I wanted to see what they had experienced. I watched Jenny L's video. We were talking, the first one I watched was Josh's.
Jenny L got one, right?
She got one. One. I don't know if it's because they knew who she was or she got there in time.
I think that is the case, because guess who was on the first in line at the Swatch store in Grand Central? It was Zach Wise from one of the Zachs from Worn and Wound.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He was first in line. I'm not joking. Literally the first person in line. And it didn't look like he slept there. So right. I don't know how he was first in line, but Zach he's one of the founders of Worn and Wound. Mm-hmm. He was first in line. So I recognize him right away because I've seen him at dozens of events, especially events I've gone to them. And he was definitely one of the first people in line. Maybe he slept there. I don't know, but
Well, that because from the minute I heard about it, I'm like, this is kind of strange. I had a bunch of questions, and the video that I made, that a lot of people made, was initial impression right off the bat, right when you heard it, and I was impressed, and I still am. They look kind of cool.
You're impressed by the watch, right? I mean, it's an impressive watch.
I like what they did. I like the colors. I like it. It's kind of crazy out there. I like the fact that it's not, well, at least from them, it's not, the price is not going to be out of control. But then I started saying, wait a minute, because when you and I were texting, I said, let me check my local Swatch store, because there's one up here in Northern Virginia, and there's one in the airport here, I think Dulles. And there was nothing on there. And then I was like, wait a minute, there's only in, I think, 7 cities it was. And some of them were really strange. Like you said, there were 5 in New York City. There was like one in Connecticut, the King of Prussia Mall that Josh and Average Joe went to.
They had 79 watches there. That's what I heard.
It was really like,
I had a friend that was in line, not Josh and Matt. I didn't know they were going there, but I had a friend that was there that's a friend of a friend, really, and he said there was only 79 there.
That's crazy. So there was that, and then I was like, why did they have so few watches? As you're watching some of these videos of people that were actually there, in your case, they had 100. I think you mentioned your video, like at the other, or maybe we were talking about it at one of the other locations in New York, they probably had 100, or you think they had 100, they had 79 there. They didn't have that many watches for the expected turnout. So, and then the fact that, I think you said it in your video, and I've heard it other places, that they're going to release these for sale on the website, like on the 28th, like Monday. So that convinces me that all this stuff, they want to build up this super hype for this thing. And now I got another question, because if you look on YouTube, you don't see a lot of Swatch content at all.
No.
Was this a play to save Swatch? Was Swatch in trouble, business-wise? No.
Swatch owns so much.
I mean, I don't mean Swatch Group. I meant the actual little brand where they. And I know as a conglomerate, the Swatch Group, they can just cover everybody's bases if they're losing money. But I was wondering if they're like, hey, man, because in the 80s when I was growing up, a lot of Swatch that was the cool thing. When I was a kid, 8, 9, 10, whatever, everybody had to have the cool, funky colored Swatch and all that other kind of stuff. But they don't seem to get, maybe it's a YouTube thing, the love of like the big luxury brands.
They're like the watch that you buy when you're at the airport now and you want to buy a quick gift for somebody. It makes some cool automatic watches that are very, very affordable, like the System 51, right? Right. System 51, they make like an irony. They make a couple of cool watches that they're cheap, I mean, you're going to pay $180 for a Swiss automatic watch that you can never service, blah, blah, blah. But right. It's kind of cool. It's not a bad looking watch. And the quality is pretty good. It's not, the best quality you've ever seen. I think that the way that they executed this was perfect. Because
as far as PR goes, right?
As far as PR goes, they've made a very interesting looking watch. It's for the person who has a Speedmaster already.
Mhm.
There were people in front of me online. One of the guys had a Ming on. You know, I was waiting there with a friend who has an Omega. One of my friend has a Yachtmaster. Danny Reuter wearing a Reuter watch. You know what I mean?
His own, which are very nice.
Yes, and you know there are a lot of people on that line looking to get this watch. Even though they may have a Speedmaster at home, I have a Speedmaster. I was online. You know what I mean? I have a Mach, a Mach 2. But either way, if I had a Speedmaster Pro in my collection, I would still have waited on this line to get one because I thought it was a really interesting looking watch for the price. I think it's and when I say interesting looking, I mean I don't care for all the text on the dial, but the fact that it has a one for one case of the Speedmaster, you know, the thickness is the same. It gets a hexalite crystal. You know, they put the S on the hexalite crystal rather than the logo, and they did some like cool things. You know, I thought a really cool toy version of a really awesome watch that also a very good travel watch. Like if you're going traveling and you're going someplace where you don't want to bring a really high-end watch like a $7,000 Speedmaster, you have a $250. I mean, I would be upset if I lost it, but I wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't ruin my trip completely.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I lost a $7,000 watch, I would be like very upset. So
absolutely.
more than
upset.
I would
AZ Taz fan said, didn't Random Rob go to Vegas? I mean, he did, and he got one. He got one. I think, I think he said in his video he was like 36th in line.
Oh, that's not bad.
So yeah, he got one. And Junior Johnson, that's what I'm saying, man. I think they did the stuff on purpose. Which is, hey, PR stunt, but like you said, you're doing that by using people. You fooled them for your PR stunt, and the hype was built. I don't think they built the hype. I think the hype was naturally built because they look great. They look cool. I think they hit all the spots they are. So it was natural hype built. But then you went ahead and let people, like you said, the biggest part that bothered you was wasting your time. You let people go there thinking they were going to get a watch, and they didn't. And I just want to point out real quick, while it's on my mind before I forget, I was right. As soon as those things hit, heck, before they even released, they were hitting eBay for $1,000 to $3,000.
That's a very good question. How that even happened, I don't know. There was ones on there before they were released in Europe. Before Europe had them in their hand. So I think there's some people on there who don't have watches. Put them up on eBay,
thinking they were going to get one.
If you're paying $5,000 for a ceramic plastic version of a Speedmaster, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You have more money than sense.
I hope no one here is. I don't want to call someone an idiot, but you are an idiot.
Yes.
Because for $5,000 you can get a used Speedmaster Pro, and it's actually a metal version. I don't know if you know.
A real one.
A real one with a hand-wound movement.
and I like how they go.
Like crystal.
It's
maybe a little bit. Nicer.
It's bioceramic. I'm like, come on, player. That's plastic. It's fancy. It's not technically like, plastic, but
yeah. Have you handled it before?
What's that? The bioceramic? Yeah. I have not.
It's not bad. It's got a little.
I'm sure probably not real ceramic, because that one Zenith I had was ceramic. And let me tell you what, that stuff is hard. Yeah. Like it won't scratch.
No, this is the same way.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes, this is the same way. So this is something that is, and it's actually, I think, more durable than ceramic. If you drop ceramic on the floor,
right,
you could crack a lug off.
Yeah. Yes.
I have a Panerai that's. I have a few ceramic watches. Mm-hmm. They can crack. I've seen videos of people who've cracked Speedmasters. Like a lug off, cracking a lug off by dropping it directly on a lug. Here's the thing, though. These are made out of 3/4 ceramic
Yes.
and a quarter plastic. So that plastic actually is what makes it a little bit more
Gives it a
durable.
little bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually not bad.
Yeah, that's
I should
cool.
probably be using this in other watches. I don't care.
Probably.
I
Yeah.
like the scratch resistant properties of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it looks good. These cases look good. I mean, I've seen some. I saw one in the window. I should take a picture of it. I don't know why I didn't. I think there's a million pictures of them out there now. They look good in person. The bioceramic cases look good. They do.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, that Zenith Defy it actually had for the lugs, because that makes sense what you're talking about. It actually had metal inserts underneath where the spring bars went in instead of straight ceramic.
Yeah.
And that's probably so it's not putting stress on the ceramic I had there. But
there was one other point I wanted to make before you. I don't know if you want to move on yet, but the other point I wanted to make was taking my situation into account, but taking people like Josh and Average Joe and you know, other people around the world where these places had 2,000 people, 1,000 people, 500 people, let's say online. I don't know, right? And they only have 100 watches. So their original plan, if you're going by their original plan here, taking my situation to account, let's say there was 1,000 to 1,500. Let's not even say it was 2,000. Let's say it was 1,500 or 1,000 people
yes,
online, and there
yeah.
were 100 watches. If we were going by their original plan, that means 50 people would have gotten watches, because they and it doesn't even really make all that much sense to me, because I even stopped the police officer, and I said, well, wait. They have 100 of each, or they have 100 in total? When he first came by the first time, and he goes, no, 100 in total. And I said, but there are 11 watches.
Right.
How is that possible? So I think they had less of certain versions. I think the pink version was probably the least that they had.
Number 100 was getting the pink version. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're going to be walking in there. It's going to be number. It's going to be number
100 was getting the leftovers.
Yeah, exactly. The last few
the
people
less
are
desirable ones. Yeah.
The less desirable ones, which I don't know. Are any of them really that less desirable besides the pink one? I don't know. The only reason why the pink one's not desirable is because if you look at the line, it was 99% dudes just hanging in, you know.
Right.
But that's the thing. So I don't know.
That's the nature of the beast.
A couple of them might want a pink watch, okay, but then I don't think, you know.
Statistically, probably not.
No. So that's it.
So you'd be buying that one basically to flip, or maybe to give to your significant other or whatever.
Exactly.
So yeah, but no, I think, and listen, obviously I wasn't there. I wanted to, because like I said, I spent most of the day consuming this type of content. And then when I thought, hey, this would be a good idea to have Chris on so he can speak to it for live, that somebody was there. But where I'm getting most of my information is from YouTube and fellow watch YouTubers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know who Austin Daniels is in Japan. He went there. I don't know if you saw his video. So I watched his video. Same thing. Police shut him down. They went to, I think he went to 2 towns. But the one he had most of his footage, he walked the line. Same thing. Police were there, shut him down. I don't think they let anybody have any watches there because it was too crazy. They shut it down. We said Jenny L was in Germany. I think Paul Thorpe made a video about the London one. That might have been the one where somebody was stabbed, but I had to look at that one. It's crazy, but heck, in USA they get stabbed over Popeye's chicken sandwiches. So what's, you know what I mean? But and then of course Josh and Average Joe's, your experience. Now Random Rod have a positive one. He was early online. And if you guys haven't seen his video, go watch his video. He actually ended up getting one, and he actually reviewed 3 because he had a friend and his wife were there, so they each all got one. So he was able to at least take a quick look at one before he said he was going to crash. So he'll probably do a more in-depth review of them. And then it just, so it doesn't seem, the impression that I'm getting from all this is it didn't go off that well. They kind of duped people, especially since they did this, like we said, select cities, only a few watches, and they were telling everybody you can get 2 and all this other kind of stuff, knowing darn well they knew that what they were doing. And then they say, oh, but hold on, 2 days later, we're going to release them for everybody to buy on Swatch, which is not true anyway, because the website will crash. I bet you the website will crash when people try to go on there, or they'll be sold out that quick, like a Zillow sale and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so
faster than that.
Yeah, faster than that.
I mean, listen, and the reason why this is going to be a phenomenon that we've never seen before in the watch sort of realm. I think that because of the amount of watches they're making, plus the fact that it looks so much like a Speedmaster.
Yes,
That
that's
black
the
version, that gray version, I think the
Listen, throw a
Moon,
NATO on it. It's gonna be, yeah.
it's it. I mean, it looks so much like it. The only difference is the chronograph layout. Like, obvious. It's a very obvious quartz watch.
Mm.
But it's like a little bit of a. It's a cool watch to have in your collection.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
The
like
biggest complaint I heard so far was the strap.
yeah.
That's the
I
biggest
imagine the
complaint.
strap's pretty crappy at the price it's going to be.
Mhm.
But it's a cool Velcro strap. It looks good.
Mhm.
It's probably bulky because it's probably not that. But that's all. I mean, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I've like I've said, and I really like the watch. I think they handled the whole thing wrong, especially for like people like Average Joe. I was watching Average Joe's video before. I was watching Josh's video. It's just it doesn't make sense the way they went about it. If you have 76 watches, you have a big ass line of people.
Right. Well, somebody made a good point. I can't
About
remember who said this. One of the YouTubers made a good point that I think they were trying to, and I kind of agreed with it. They were trying to replicate. Everybody's trying to catch that Rolex hype, that lightning in a bottle that Rolex has got. Where, and this was huge. The internet, the online YouTube watch community just blew up with this stuff.
Yeah,
it was huge. This is still huge. We're in the middle of it, and it's huge.
Yeah.
Maybe bigger than Swatch and Omega predicted. Maybe they didn't think it was going to be this huge.
Could be. Listen,
could
this
be.
is a big deal. I mean, this is the weirdest thing that I've seen. This is the weirdest collaboration I've ever seen. There's a lot of weird collaborations out there. It's a really unexpected collaboration too. When I saw that Omega and Swatch thing on Instagram, I was just like, it's gonna be something lame.
Yeah.
Lame. I really thought it would be. I thought it would be like a plastic Swatch, which I mean, technically it is. But I mean, like one of those like really cheap looking watches that's a time only.
The $90 one or the $75
one. The $90 one that would have been like a moon. It would have been the whole dial would have been just a moon.
Right.
The whole dial was the sun, or the whole dial was, and that's honestly what I expected. What the route that they took was fantastic. I just think it's a really cool watch.
Threw everybody for a loop, and it works.
Yeah,
I think it really works. Somebody else, like I said, I've been consuming a lot of content with this. Somebody said, hell, Omega owed Swatch for saving them in the 90s. Otherwise, we wouldn't have no Omega.
Yeah,
so they kind of,
I said that in my video.
Yeah. They kind of.
I was like, they said it. They actually, the Omega CEO said it. He said this is a little bit of a thank you for us, thanking Omega, thanking a Swatch for saving Omega during the quartz crisis. So they came in and bought Omega, and they really left Omega alone.
Yep.
And and they've given them movements. They've done everything. Swatch itself is just a little bit of their business.
Oh yeah.
They make ETA. They have all these movements that they're making for all different brands. They own Frederic Piget. They own
Longines.
They own Mito, Certina,
Tissot.
Hamilton, Tissot. I mean, there's
Omega. They're huge.
Yeah, Blancpain, Jacques Giroux. I mean, keep Breguet. I mean, it's just like you keep going.
Yep.
Guys,
real quick before we forget, go ahead, Chris. Let's do a wristwatch check now. We got 30 some odd people in here. What are you?
Sure.
What are you wearing?
I have a very weird watch on today. I'll actually take it off my wrist to show you. This is a Romain Jerome. It is a watch that a lot of people do not like. I mean, a brand that a lot of people don't like, but you can see how you can tell the time there and right there. It's a driver's watch, so you can see how that looks on the wrist. And it is meant to look like a spaceship. It's called the Spacecraft. It's designed by a person, the person Eric Girard, who actually does all the design work for MB&F. If you're familiar with MB&F, this is designed by the person who does all of the designs for MB&F. Obviously, you could see some of that inspiration. Obviously, he did it basically the same time he was designing the HM5. The HM5, another driver's watch, which is really an awesome watch. And then the mechanics, the actual movement inside, is made by Angenieur. Angenieur are the guys who actually make the Streamliner for the Streamliner chronograph, the flyback chronograph for H. Moser and C. They also make movements for MB&F, and they also make the chronograph movements that power Singer watches. So Singer reimagined. They make the Agengraph, I think it's called Agendergraph or something like that, which is touted to be the best chronograph movement in the world. It's one of the most beautiful movements you've ever seen. If you've never seen a Singer, look up Singer watches. They make some insanely beautiful watches. Anyway, so it's two teams that make MB&F teamed up and made a watch for Romain Jerome. I don't typically like Romain Jerome. I don't like their designs, but this watch and their other watch that they make, I really love. They make another one called the Subcraft, which was the designer wasn't this other guy, Eric, that does MB&F. It was actually Alain Silverstein, who is very good. He did the other. There's
cool.
They got
weird,
exactly. They got the three powerhouse, most famous designers. Like this guy, Eric Girard, is going to be like a Gerald Genta. He'll be remembered as a Gerald Genta. He's designed the Tissot C-Star 1000.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So he designed that case. He's designed like a lot of watches. He's going to be like a Gerald Genta when he goes down into history, similar to Alain Silverstein, who's like one of those watch designers. He's a little bit crazy, but that are going to.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that was a long wrist check, but I think it's a really. I'm so excited about this watch.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
And then of course that's so when you're holding the steering wheel at your 10 and 2, you don't have to move your wrist or turn it, or you just got to glance down. And
well, I mean, you do still, because the minutes are on the top and the hours are on the side. So what this is a linear. That's a linear retrograde jump hour. So linear retrograde means that the hours actually go across and then jump back. They go across and it jumps back. So it's retrograde as well. And it's linear because, it's in one line. So it's actually, the movement is actually the shape of this case. And there's a base movement inside where they use a ETA 2892, which is obviously not as expensive as base movements that MB&F use. MB&F use Girard-Perregaux. So,
real quick, I'm gonna say, hey, what's up, Joe? Happy birthday to Lucian. He's said everybody say happy birthday, and Bobby Legs is in here. What's up, Bobby?
Happy birthday. I just was watching Bobby Legs, the replay of Bobby Legs talking about the hype around this.
Yeah. It's everybody's doing the video. I put it. Hey guys, in the comments, put what you guys are wearing tonight, and I am wearing actually the Seiko SPB 179, the Sumo. Let me take it off here. Cool dial, man. Seiko and their dials. The Sumo Ice Diver.
Ice Diver.
Yeah, which USA release only. Very cool. But spoiler alert, I'm gonna do a video on this, obviously. This one's for my personal collection, so I don't plan on passing this one anytime soon, passing on, but yeah, it's a little misaligned on the chapter.
You finally get struck by the Seiko misalignment.
I've been
you
so
never
lucky
do.
with Seiko, and then I'm like, I opened it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't notice it till I'm sure you've had that happen. You're like, yeah, and you're wearing the watch, and like the next day, you're like, wait, what? And you think, especially with the diver ones, you think maybe the bezels. Let me turn the bezel, and then you finally realize, like, oh, are you kidding me? It's like,
I had that problem. I don't like to study my watches. I had my SBDC 061. I had that watch for like 3 months before I noticed it was misaligned. I was like,
I guess that means it's not that big of a deal, but it's one of those things. I'm looking at it, I'm like, are you kidding me?
I was wearing it every day too, by the way. So okay. Maybe I need glasses, but I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
It's the index. It wasn't even. It's not mine. Is not the chapter ring. It's the index. You could see. It's like a little bit.
You know, it's funny to line up because when you put the click and you could tell because the pip on the bezel lines up right with the 12 o'clock indice has a line through it, and those two line up. And when you look down at it like that, you can see that the chapter ring is like just a little bit, but enough to notice, man. So, I mean, So now that we've all gone through the old, what's up, Ken? The whole craziness with Omega and the swatch, the MoonSwatch, which is going to continue for a while. But let's talk about, we briefly discussed before we got in here some of the other releases, such as the Bulgari Octafinissimo, the Newton. They now have the thinnest watch. They beat out Piaget. Yeah, they beat him out for the thinnest watch. That's crazy. I was watching
videos about this watch.
I really like the Octafinissimo. I'm like, that thing looks really cool. That one though, I don't know. I'm like, okay, that's cool, and it's cool that's the thinnest, but
$400,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It looks. I think I'm going to be honest. I don't want to wear a watch that thin. I think it looks ridiculous. And then they put a QR code on it, on the face of the watch.
Why?
Make
sure you know it's legit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like buying a Picasso, and then instead of signing his name, he puts a QR code on it. It's like a barcode in the corner.
So I've had this. So obviously, I spent more on a watch than I've had this like love-hate thing with like a Bulgari Octafinissimo because I think it's really cool looking, right? But I think they were like $11,000 for this one I was looking at, and I'm like, I don't want to spend $11,000 on that watch. Like, I'm like, okay, it's cool.
I don't like them for the price. I think in the secondary market, they're not. I don't know if they're doing better, but on the secondary market, they're not doing that well. So you can pick them up for a pretty good price. But I mean, No, I did not pull the trigger on the last Ming release. I actually had it in my cart. And I went and I paid, and my bank rejected it as a fraud. And I knew it was going to do that. I actually called my bank. It's the bank that I work for. I don't even want to bring them up because they suck so bad. I don't even want to talk about it. But I called them up before I went to buy it, and they were like, "Oh, sure, don't worry, it'll go through." And I just sat there, and I was just like, you can see my blood boil. And then you know what? A few minutes later, I was going to call them up and like yell and scream, and then I was just like, you know what? This is a sign.
Yep. Wasn't meant to be.
And I was on the fence about it because I went with the second version, which was the I think it was the gilt version it was called, and that would have been ready in 2023, February 2023. And I was just like, I don't feel like buying a watch now and then in 2023. I don't even know.
Yeah, that's a little long. I could see.
We might be living in an underground bunker.
Yeah.
By then, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to get charged by Ming.
Thinking about your watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get charged. They're gonna email me. I'm not going to get the email. Then I get charged. And then they keep my initial $1,500, and I'll be really pissed.
Yeah,
it was $1,700.
Jeez. Yeah, Bobby said same thing happened to him.
Yeah. You know what? They even warn you of it. And I don't know what bank you work for, but no, Bobby doesn't work for a bank, but Rob doesn't. You might be banking with the same bank that I work for, so just put your money somewhere else.
Geez. So,
I don't know.
Yeah, and the other one we talked about, which I thought was pretty huge, was Omega, and we talked about the Omega Swatch, MoonSwatch, but Omega by itself, Omega, they pretty much just copy and pasted Rolex's lineup, and they're like, "Hey, here's our new watches." Bang.
It's ironic that you brought that up. Hey, what's up, Junior Johnson?
What's up?
911 Dan just said hello. If you follow him on Instagram, he actually was the person who posted it. I was gonna like ask him if I could repost it. I don't know if you do that, but I never do that. He posted something on Instagram. It was the mirror image. So it was like, it was Rolexes at the top,
right,
and then Omegas on the bottom, and it was the
like the OPs,
the gradient dials, the ultra deep and the James Cameron,
deep sea
James
Cameron,
it was all like, Rolex did it and then Omega did it. Rolex did it, then Omega did it, and it was like the line. They were all the same size. They all looked exactly the same, and it was just, you thought it was a mirror image, but it was Omega. And
yep. He said, "Fine by him. Just repost and tag."
Yeah, I never do it. I don't even know how to do it. So
I know. I sometimes on Instagram, I'm like,
I just liked it. I was just.
And the only other thing I gotta say is real quick about social media, like Instagram and all that stuff. Somebody needs to post what the etiquette is, because sometimes you're like you just said, "Oh God, I don't know if would this be stealing his content? I don't know. How do I do this? Do I do?" And you're like, "I don't know what the etiquette is. I don't want to insult anybody, so I'm not gonna."
I don't know if he did this in like workshop, because it looks so good. It looks so good. Is workshop a thing? Do they use that anymore? Like an editing software. I don't know how he did it, but it looked so good. I was like, I actually laughed out loud when I saw it. I was like, "Holy damn, that is really good."
So I watched.
It wasn't like edited. It was.
Yeah, I watched Watch Eric's video, and he talked about that stuff. Same thing. It was, I mean, when they're lined up like that, like the Aquaterras and the OPs, you're like, "Oh, you're serious? You seriously just copied them?"
They changed the bracelets on the Aquaterras to make them look more like the bracelets, to make them more look like oyster bracelets.
And the thing is, they'll probably sell like hotcakes. Because if somebody wants an OP, you can't get one. So you say, "Oh, I'll get Aquaterra for," what are they, $3, $4 grand, $5 grand, maybe something like that. So they're half or a third of the price, and it's exactly the same dial color. And you can say, and from across the room, it looks like a Rolex, but it's not an homage. I mean, I guess it is an homage, but it's not a knockoff. Like, so you can go, no, it's Omega, as James Bond would say it, Omega. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's Watch Eric did make a good point, though. I think if they had slow rolled this, people might not have noticed. Like, let's say if they'd have done 1 or 2 pieces at a time, but they just dumped the whole thing. They said, "Boom, here you go."
Yeah. And they threw them, like, all the pictures, they're all lined up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They took away the helium escape.
Yeah. I saw that.
And they got a watch with that has something that's sort of like 904L stainless steel, but it's maybe not the exact same thing. A lot of people go back and forth on that, but whatever. And then they make ones with gradient dials and this and that. It's like,
and they put the one I was laughing at the most was, the Seamaster. They did the green dial. It's like the Omega's Hulk or whatever.
Yeah, the Omega Hulk.
The Omega Hulk. And then they also did the Speedmaster in rose gold, and it looked just like the Daytona and they put on a oyster flex, like rubber strap. I'm like, oh God.
On the back of it, the moon strap, they're calling it. Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, I agree with Bobby Legs on that. I don't think they look good. I don't like the colors. They're sort of like pastel-y, like they're a little pastel colored. And I think they look good, but I think the OPs look better. Yeah, they do.
Yep. But then you're going to get the argument, which I can play devil's advocate. I got to kind of agree with. You might be able to. Who knows? The watch game, it's going crazy. It's just going crazy. But you'd think you'd be able to walk in and buy one of those. Although I still don't think you can walk in and buy one of those Snoopy moon watches. They're still 3 times the price.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna wait until they come out with the Swatch version.
yeah.
That's all. You
Yeah,
see
me
that
too.
other thing that's going around, the Omega Seamaster 7Cs? You see
No.
that? There's a thing going around Instagram that is the Omega Seamaster 7Cs Swatch Edition. And it's just the Seamaster with the Bioceramic case, and it just says Omega Swatch Seamaster 7Cs or whatever on the dial, all that crap. And then it's just like the different colors and the ceramic, and they came out with 7 because there's 7Cs. They came out
Right.
with seven watches. So
Ah,
I like what people do. People are like really
yeah.
creative. And you know what? For a second, I was looking at it, I was like, oh, damn. They're doing this now too? It's crazy. And then I was like, oh, this is a joke.
Yeah. But see, like you said, they got rid of the helium escape valve. Why don't they get it off the Seamaster and just
Some people like it, apparently. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan.
yeah, it doesn't bother me too much, but I could, if I had a choice, I'd say take it off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. But yeah.
I don't know. The Citizen, the video you did about that new Citizen release.
That's nice.
I like those.
Yes.
I like those. That was a good video. I like those. I was like, okay.
That's under $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's going to have a 9000 series. It's the proprietary 9000 series for whatever, which is nice though. And then it's a good looking dive watch. Super titanium bracelet, super titanium case. They're good looking. And they're going to be under $1,000. It's the remake of the 1970 Challenger. They're using this inspiration from a watch that actually was in the ocean for many years and was encrusted in coral. And they found that watch and it was still running, which is kind of cool.
That is.
Probably not really their inspiration, but pretty cool.
No, it was cool. Yeah, and it was. So, anything else you?
No.
Guys?
Did you want to? We're going to wrap it up soon, I guess. But
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the MB&F?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. The Mad One.
Yeah, the Mad One that was also released. The Mad One, the red edition that was released, and that was released on Monday, I want to say. And this is the sort of affordable version of an MB&F, and it's coming out through their Mad Galleries, and it's called the Mad One, and it's called Mad Editions, is what they're calling it. And it has a Miyota movement. Not a lot of people understand that, but there is a couple of things about this watch that make it worth it, in my opinion. It's a $3,000 watch, $3,200. It gets a Miyota 8 series movement, but it's a completely customized 8 series. So they take the entire movement apart. It actually gets more power reserve than a standard 8 series. So I think it gets 62 hours of power reserve or something like that. Okay. The reason why they used it is because of the rotor and how freely it spins, because it's a unidirectional winding rotor. So it spins really, really fast. And then they also put it into a sapphire case, which sits on a stainless steel X sort of base. And then they put a stainless steel bezel on top. So it's actually a sapphire case, and you're getting that rotor that's in the front, which is their battle axe rotor, and then you're getting a bezel that goes around it. And you read it on the side of the watch, like this watch. So you read it like this, except it has 2 rings, and then you have a pointer basically at the bottom, and it tells you the time. So pretty cool watch. And it's made by Max Buser in the studio, not by Max Buser himself, but it's made by MB&F. So the MB&F team actually produce these watches. They actually put them together and make them. Pretty interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool watch. So
yeah, that's cool, man. That thing looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Random Rob came in. He got one.
Oh yeah,
He got the old MoonSwatch
it's a good
out
move going to
there in
Vegas
Vegas.
because
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good move going to Vegas because when they came out with the iPhone, I was in Atlantic City.
Really?
Yeah, and there were lines when they first came out with the iPhone. There were lines in New York around the corner. Same, BS that happened today for Swatch. I was in Atlantic City. No one was online. Not one person was waiting online. You could walk right into the store, buy an iPhone, and walk out. There was no one there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of, but they do the same thing with the dang shoes. Apparently, these guys that are into shoes, man, they'll stand in line all day long, all day and night for that kind of stuff.
It's flippers, though. That's the thing. It's a lot of flippers.
Yes.
They want to sell the watches.
Yep.
Which is, listen, I get it. If there's people out there willing to pay $5,000 for the watch,
yeah, that's not a seller problem. That's a buyer problem.
Exactly.
Because
exactly. Like I said, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
The person selling it to you is not an idiot.
No.
I mean, if they expect that they're going to make $5,000 in every single one, I mean, no, because eventually,
Oh, interesting. Rob said there were cash buyers at the exit of the store paying huge money. There you go.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Swatch, if they actually come out on the 28th, which is what, Monday,
yeah,
on the website, and they keep it up a steady flow, because like you said, these swatches are made all by robots and stuff, right? They're not.
These
are made on the assembly line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they could crank them out, like, that'll bring a lot of that stuff down if they're able to not flood the market, but if they're able to get enough a product out there.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
they definitely can. I think they can. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that there were people willing to pay at the exit. I mean, I was walking by the people who had the 100 tickets, and I was just like thinking, should I offer someone $100 for their spot? And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend $100.
No, yeah.
I was like, what am I gonna? I don't need this. I have a watch on,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need another watch.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. So I just kept walking.
But I mean, in the case of being a YouTuber, it would make good content to be like, hey, I got one, and get it out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but again, I don't do this I don't make.
Look at this.
Oh, damn. How many people, Rob, come on, man. Did you do it?
I was thinking that one. I'd have been like, damn, cash money right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Rob
and then go bought a real Speedmaster.
but
I
Rob,
get it.
How many people were on the line, would you say, in total? And did they handle it well? Because where I was, I didn't get a watch. And then what I was saying earlier in the show, basically there were 100 watches in the store. They had over 1,000 people on the line. They didn't tell anybody until after 8:00 when they opened, and then they came out and had the police tell us that get off the line. There's no watches. So I don't know how they handled it in Vegas, but I hope they handled it differently in other locations. Maybe it was just the location that I was at. I mean, New York City's always ridiculous. So maybe I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, here he goes. He says there was 600-ish in line, handled great by the Swatch staff. That's awesome to hear. And they handed out 178 tickets at their location. So they had 178 watches.
Wow.
It's kind of a weird number, but
a very weird number. Yeah. Which versions did Rob get again? I don't remember.
What's the all blue one?
The all blue one
is that Uranus?
Whoa.
But
the joke that's going around.
Right now. I know, right?
278.
278. Oh, okay.
Damn. That is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Rob, I mean, 100. New York City, 100. Ridiculous.
At the Grand Central Station.
At the Grand Central Station.
That's where you were at, right? At the Grand Central Station, watching 100 watches.
100.
Oh, is it the Neptune? The blue might be the Neptune one. I get so lost in all this.
Yeah. Pretty cool though. I can't wait to get one.
No, they're gonna be cool. I'm definitely getting one. Yeah, I'm definitely getting one. A lot of people don't like the Saturn one. I kind of like it, but then I started looking at it and I got what some people are saying. It looks like a face. The Saturn at the bottom with the ring looks like a smile with the two eyes. So it kind of looks like the watch has a face. I dig that one. I dig the one, the tan bronze colored one with the orange hand. What is that one?
Yes, I like that one.
That one's cool. I dig that one.
Yeah. 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 Junior Johnson saying, I might have taken that three. I would have taken that 3K.
Yeah, I would have taken. Yeah.
I mean, and then again, depends on if Rob is going to keep the ones he got.
Yeah.
And you know why there's people asking for 3K? Because the guy who's asking you for 3K has it on eBay selling for 5,000.
Yep.
And he can't make the delivery because he actually doesn't have any watches. Because he put it on eBay before he actually had a watch.
Yep. Thinking he'd be able to get one. Yeah. Yep.
So.
You want to play his part of history. Yeah, I think that the video he got has got like almost 30,000 views in one day. So I don't know. I don't know if you're weighing view stuff and subscribe in the long game. It's probably better to you get it for content and have it and enjoy it yourself too. But
yes, yeah, and he can flip it eventually.
Yeah.
Flip it before Monday.
Mm-hmm. I dig the Saturn too. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's cool. I like the black one, the Mission to the Moon. I like the Mission to Mercury, which is the gray one. Mm-hmm. And then I like the blue one. I like the tan one. The ones I don't like is the yellow.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the green one, although I would maybe wear that.
I think it kind of looks cool. That mint green color, the Earth.
Yeah,
I remember that one, Earth.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the Earth. I'm just not
right.
Right. I would have sold my spot at 9/11 dead. I would have sold my spot.
And got a real Speedmaster. That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
The three I don't like is the Sun, whatever the Tiffany dial one is, and the pink one.
People call it a Tiffany dial, but it doesn't look like a Tiffany.
It's not really, but yeah, the light blue, Tiffany-ish, color one.
Yeah.
Those three I'm not. But you're right. You could take the moon, the actual moon one, and throw a black and gray NATO on that sucker, and it looks just like a metal one.
Like I said, I bought way too many watches this week. I got this week, and then
we were right. Look, straps sucks.
Yeah, the straps I heard suck. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got that one.
I got that, and then I got the Mad One. So.
Oh yeah.
So that's way too much money spent this week. So
yeah, I've been going crazy. I got this one. I got a couple coming in off of Discord for flippers to review and then throw on the website. I specifically bought them for that. I got a couple Tissot in. Oh, that's the other thing. Hey guys, go check out Chris's Watch Chris shop. What's it called, Chris?
Shopwatchchris.com.
Shopwatchchris.com. Go check it out. Buy some of the watches he has in there. Check out rockthewatch.com. I got some watches for sale. I review a lot of these and then put them up for sale. I do got this one's pretty cool, man. I'm pretty impressed with this one. This one is the baby tuna. And what the heck is this number on this one? I don't even remember. Oh, SPBY 083. SBDY 083. So this is a JDM. You only get this color in Japan, apparently, but thanks to the internet, we can get a lot of this cool stuff. This is a cool watch, man. Beautiful. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, okay. Thinking baby turtle, maybe it's a little too small. I think this one's the right size, dude.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's got a cool dial color on it, Pretty cool, man.
Fellow says Uranus is a Tiffany color.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's cool too, man. I do. The red and white does look cool.
The Alaska project too.
Mm-hmm.
The Mission to Mars, right, is what they're calling it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The hands on there too. I think that's just a cool move. I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're in red, cool. Not black, and the case is red, and it's cool. It's cool because they sort of incorporate it. And their Mission to Mars. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
No, that's all right. My kid was calling. I had to mute
Oh,
it. He was like knocking on the door. I'm like, hang on, give me 5 minutes.
the Alaska project sort of that was they used that watch in the Alaska project. And the Alaska project was sort of a test run for a mission to Mars, right, or something like that. Or yeah, so it's pretty cool. The whole thing is cool. The tie-ins are good.
Yeah, you know what? AZ Taz fans say Bulova did a better job on their Velcro straps for the Lunar Pilot. For some reason, I've been on the Bulova Lunar Pilot kick lately. I've never actually.
I sold mine, and then I've regretted it ever since. And I forget who did a comparison about it today. There was something again I saw it on Instagram. It was a comparison of the Lunar Pilot versus the Speedmaster. And the thing is, the Lunar Pilot is obviously an homage to the Speedmaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a watch that actually went to the moon by mistake, and they were trying to compete for, the NASA contract. And the watch actually went to the moon, though. It's a cool watch. It's a cool watch. Just Bulova did not do a good job releasing it. They didn't do a good job reissuing it, I should say. A 45 millimeter watch that like, if you're going to do it, make it 42 millimeters. You know what I mean? I don't get it.
That's the only reason that's been keeping me. I've been looking at it. It gets high praise, and I watch a lot of the videos, and a lot of people like it, but I'm like 45, like, man, that's big.
That's big. It's 44 is like kind of my wheelhouse,
Yeah, that's my upper end limit.
Still work for me. They should have just, if I were them, I would have come out, I would have initially do like what other brands do, like Seiko, come out with a really sick one, come out with when they came out with the Alpinist, they came out with the reissue, the Alpinist 1959. They came out with one with a 6L movement or the 8L movement, I don't remember. And they did a really good job. It looked really cool. Came on a nice bun strap. Then they came out with a, one with a 6R movement. And then eventually they came out with a 4R movement. Yeah. Why not come out with one with an automatic or a hand wound chronograph movement in it, and then come out with the quartz version, and then come out with the larger version, come out with the true original version, and then stray away from that. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot what the heck I was going to say, but yeah, I agree with you. The
50th anniversary one is the one with the gold and the, I think, right? Maybe I'm wrong. They did a good job on that one too.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's the only thing that's, like I said, the size on that sucker, I'm like kind of hesitant. I'm like, oh, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, when you mentioned Seiko, what Seiko does, we've said it before, Seiko, it's all about their dials. Their dials are just, if they could get their flipping quality control issues under control, man. I guess they don't really have to, because we keep buying them anyway. So.
But they're mass producing these dials, and they do such a good job, man. Like the Ice Diver.
Oh, the thing is,
it's a cool dial.
I love this watch. This is, oh yeah, it's awesome. It's beautiful. And then I got the one, the Antarctica one I got, Seiko Antarctica Monster with the little penguin feet. That's cool. That's
cool.
They got some ice monster, the frost monsters. All those, they got some cool dials.
And there's a bunch of citizens that are coming out that actually have some cool dials now. If you go to their website, they came out with they came out with 2 new watches this week as well that I didn't do videos about because I just don't have time. But they came out with 2 new versions that have that 0200 and titanium and gold. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That have that Le Jouperet movement in it. That they started using. They're ridiculously priced, but they came out with one that has like a carbon dial that looks sick. I don't know if it's carbon or I don't know what the hell they used, but the watch looks really good. And they came out with another version that looks really good. Hopefully citizens step up their game and they start.
Yeah, they got so much potential.
That ProMaster, the
Yeah.
one that we were just talking about before, that looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick before we get out of here, before we came on, I was watching a Peter Costa video about this $7,000 Seiko.
Yeah.
Not a Grand Seiko, a Seiko.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is Seiko doing? Like,
it's a 62 Moss with an 8L, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's Grand Seiko territory. But I guess
It's
if
got
Grand
a Grand Seiko
Seiko's,
movement.
yeah, it does. But I guess I think it's made by Grand Seiko or something like that.
It's an 8L. The 8L is made by, I don't remember now. I did a whole thing of it. I don't know if it's made by Epson. They make some of those movements, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But the 8L is the 9R. No, the 9S. Whatever the standard Grand Seiko automatic movement is.
The high beat?
9R. It might be a high. I don't think it's high beat.
Okay.
It's an 8L though. The 8L is that sort of caliber. It's just not finished as nicely. So they do there's slight differences between the movements, but it's basically the same movement.
Yeah.
And if you really want, this is what I've said, and I don't want to get into this argument. This we could do another video on this.
You could do a whole nother, right.
Do you want a Grand Seiko diver? Can you buy one?
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, I guess no, you can't.
No.
No, you're right. That's right. You can't.
If you want one, you can get a 45 millimeter dive watch made out of with a weird dial on it. None of the dials are good. They all have these weird ass hands. They don't look good. That's 62 Moss.
The divers.
Yeah, the divers. Yeah. The divers.
Yeah, the divers, right.
They have look at that 62 Moss. That's a good looking watch.
It is.
It's ridiculous, and you'll be wearing it someplace and be like, "Oh, that's a nice watch. Would you pay $200?" But that's the problem with it, because you can't see the 8L. You don't know it's an 8L in there. Even
it's a sleeper.
It's like the people like me. I buy this watch. I'll show it to you. They'll go, "Oh, it's a Romain Jerome." They'll be like, "Oh, gross." And then I have to explain to you who made it,
right?
Who designed it, why the movement's awesome, who put.
And then you go, "Oh, now I get it."
And a half hour later, you'll be like, "Oh, you're still an idiot." Like, and that's it, you know, like
I still would have bought Rolex or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. So that's the point. So
yeah,
so it's for the people who are fiddly nerds like Peter Costa. Peter Costa is, he's into this shit, and.
Well, he even says in the thing, he's like, "Hey, that's Grand Seiko prices," but you just made a good point. You can't get a Grand Seiko diver. They're either GMTs, chronographs, or sports watches.
Did he pay Australian dollars or US dollars?
Maybe maybe it was Australian dollars.
Yeah, it's finished incredible. The movement is awesome. Yeah, yeah, it's an 8L. That's what they call it. It's the Grand Seiko 9S, I guess it's one of the 9S's. I don't know which one. I probably knew at some point, but I don't remember. It's the exact same movement. It looks a little bit different. It just looks a little bit different. It's the finishing that's a little bit different. And when I say it's not as nice, I mean they didn't finish it with decoration as nice. The movement is the same. You're getting the same quality level, but it looks slightly different. It's handmade. These are high end. Yeah. You have an SPGA 229. But I mean, I'm not Dan. I respect that watch. I think it's an awesome watch, but I just don't find them to be. They're big and I don't know. I just don't find them exciting looking. You know what I mean? Like I can't explain it. There's no Grand Seiko diver that I think is just a really good looking dive watch. I can't explain it, but there's not,
Which means they should come out with one and put the spring drive movement in it and put Grand Seiko on there.
But but the problem is it's Seiko that has the history with dive watches.
For divers, right. And Grand Seiko is more of their luxury, I guess, gentleman brand or whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know.
If they want to do something like that, they're going to come out within the Seiko line. That's why they do this. So I think that's their philosophy. And it's unfortunate because I'm not, it's just not for me. I just think they're a little bit big. That's all. And
Mhm.
I wear big watches, and
Oh, yeah.
the last time when I met Dan, I was wearing a Grand Seiko with the same clasp that was. I think we were actually talking about the clasp on that watch with the Marine Master clasp on it. Um, they're awesome watches. They're really well made. You get all the Grand Seiko goodness, right? But there's something about them. I don't like the dial. I really don't like the hands. I think that's the biggest thing
Mhm.
for me. I don't like the hands. And I like a classic looking diver with specifically like the 62 Mas or yeah, definitely the Seiko Lux divers are awesome.
Yeah, heck, I forgot. God, I like I said, I try to watch as much of the stuff as possible, but they got some Seikos out there that have spring drive movements in them.
Yeah,
Regular Seikos for like
yeah,
$2,000, 2,500,
yeah,
and they're great looking watches, and they're half or a third of the price of Grand Seiko.
yeah. I just
So,
bought a Grand Seiko chronograph,
mhm.
and that chronograph that I bought like 2 months ago, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's I know it's a neo vintage. It's like from 19. It's like from 2011 neo vintage, right?
Mhm.
They put that chronograph movement in certain Seikos. So you can
Seikos, yeah.
buy a regular Seiko with that movement in it. It looks different, but you can buy that. So
Yeah, I mean, there's not much difference. I mean, that Seiko Presage Sharp Edge GMT I have, that's a good looking watch. There's not much difference, really. I mean, that thing was about $1,000.
yeah,
So I think we've talked about this before, but right when you hit about that $1,000 mark with Seiko, you get a noticeably better watch.
yeah, yes. It's $1,000. Once they
Mhm.
give you $1,000 watch, it's noticeably better than
Yes.
everything that they produce. And then I think that from that level, that $1,000 level,
Mhm.
they're sort of on par with Swiss watches at that $1,000 level, and to maybe $3,000 or $5,000 level. And then when you get to a Seiko that's at that $5,000 level, now you're talking about a watch that is a special watch. I think, in
Mhm.
my opinion, I had those SLA divers on my channel that Exquisite Timepieces lent me, and those I think had 8L movements in them as well. They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal watches. Bezel, just the whole thing, the 904L stainless steel, just a beautiful watch. Yeah,
Yeah, they are.
yeah.
So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thanks for coming out. Again, it's Shop Watch Chris. Why am I pointing the wrong way? There we go. Shop Watch Chris. Go check out
Shopwatchchris.com.
shopwatchchris.com and rockthewatch.com for some watches. Check it out. Buy some watches. Go check out our YouTube channels. And yeah, man, hit us up on Instagram. And we'll see you guys next time. Later.
Good seeing you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for
Yep.
having me on.